The first question I have to ask you is, who's iconic to you?
Who is iconic to me? Oh, that's such a hard. You know what's funny? I feel like when I was a young person, I would have answers of like celebrities and people like that who I could like look up to. But I feel like I've learned things about everyone I like that make me like them less. So I like can't like unabashedly suggest a
Yeah.
single person. So who's iconic to me is like, I would probably say my mom, who like raised me, who passed when I was like 12. And
Oh,
she was like my adoptive mother because I wasn't raised by like my birth mother, but she was you know, she had a disability, she had cerebral palsy, she like couldn't drive and couldn't walk very far, but she like made everything work and kind of made me have like a very normal childhood.
yeah.
And kind of bent over backwards to like kind of make it seem like everything was normal to me when I like look in you know, when I look back, it's kind of like, how did you do it? That was a magic trick, you know? And I think that
Yeah.
that's like, that I would consider that iconic, really just sacrificing a lot to give, you know, me a normal childhood or a semblance of a normal childhood.
Oh, that's amazing. That is an amazing story. Okay, well now I'm in your challenge, Jarvis.
Yeah,
Like,
we're in, we're in.
yeah, okay, all right. So tell me, what are the origin stories? If this was a video essay, tell me where you're from.
Oh, well, I don't want to, that makes it sound more self-important, but no, I'm from Gainesville, Florida, which is a college town. It's where like the University of Florida is located. And that's where I was born and raised. And my family's originally from Illinois, but I never spent any time there. But I have an older sister who still lives there, and yeah, like I have two siblings, and like none of us were raised together. We're all like kind of raised by a different family friend, if you know what I mean, like kind of,
Yeah,
you know, like grandma, like quote
yeah.
unquote vibes. And yeah, so I mean, I grew up with my mom. It was like I grew up in a two-bedroom house with like five people in it. You know, you know, I
Yeah.
don't know if it was five. I think it was four. It depended on the time, but it was like me, my mom, who I call my mom. The distinction is like this was like my mom and my birth mother are two different people, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
It's like me, my mom, my cousin who was nonverbal and like had a disability,
Yeah.
had like sort of mental disabilities, and so and then my aunt who was like her caretaker.
Wow.
And so it's like I my story gets very dark very fast. I hope that's okay.
Of course. Of course. I'm just
Yeah.
surprised. Of
Yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah. Yeah, so like my you know, my mom passed when I was 11, or no, so a year before my mom passed, my cousin actually passed, due to just complications from some of her disabilities and things like that. I don't fully know the situation, but and then my mom passed shortly after. So there were originally like four people in the house, and like me and my mom would sleep like on the couch, like opposite, like kind of head to toe opposite
Yeah.
side, you know, when I was a kid. We would sleep on the couch, and then Aaron, my cousin, would sleep in the room, and then my aunt would sleep in her room. And then suddenly it was just like me and my aunt.
Yeah.
And I had to like go to, and then at the same time, my birth mother had gotten uh custody of my little brother and was like getting her life together because she had just like had a lot of stuff going on. Not, I don't want to like kind of tell her business, but she had a lot of stuff going on. She got custody of my little brother and then wanted to get custody of me, but was like, oh, he's like doing fine on his own. But then like when things happened, there was this like custody court situation where like at 12 I have to decide if I like want to change households or like stay where
Yeah.
I'm at, even though I didn't have like an amazing relationship with my aunt. I like would prefer to like stay in the same house at least and like go to the same school and have the same
Yeah.
everything else, since everything was in such flux. So then I did that, and then my aunt was my caretaker until I was 18, and I like the agreement was that I would see my birth mother every like other weekend.
Yeah.
But what's funny to me is that like my aunt dropped me off at college and I didn't see her again until I graduated from college, and I haven't seen her since.
Why? How?
She calls me every week, but like she's like a recluse and she had
Yeah.
her own stuff going on. There's some like trauma and things related to like she didn't have it all together at certain times as well, and I'm just kind of like caught in the mix. But thankfully I had like a strong sense of self and was able to like kind of find my own way. But yeah, it was weird. And then so and then and then I guess the other thing is that like I keep saying my aunt, but really she was like not, well, no one's blood related to me at
Yeah.
this point, but we all, just by coincidence, everyone's last name was Johnson. So
That's
like
actually
no
hilarious.
one asked any questions. It was just pure coincidence.
That's so
Um,
funny.
when I say my aunt, it's like that's what I called her, but really it was more like a cousin, because like her mom, my mom's sister was her mom, so it was my real aunt, but I like, call her like my great aunt. And she was also kind of like a second mother to me after my mom passed, but
Yeah.
she lived in a separate household, and then some shit went down, and then I spent a bunch of time with her. Um, but then, she passed right after I graduated college. So then I just kind of have no connection to like my family. I like talk to my aunt every now and then. She'll call me and see like what's up. And I like talk to my birth mother every now and again.
Yeah.
But like I kind of, otherwise I like am like a man with no home, a little bit like nomad.
I get that. Like
Yeah.
I really really get that. When I was born, how do you it's so crazy trying to tell your own life story while
Yeah,
these people are alive and will get
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
and
I know
like
that's,
like an accurate retelling of history is offensive to them. Um
yep. And I mean, there's some details I'm definitely skipping over, but
right. I'm like okay, so when I was born, I lived with my Grammy until I was like
mhm.
7, right? My mother, my dad had his first family, essentially my two of my sisters with his first wife, and he had me and my sister, my younger sister, with my mom around the same time.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I lived with my grandma till I was about 7, and that was my parent. And then when I
Right.
moved into the house with my parents, it was very tumultuous. That is
Mhm.
the word I'm just gonna use
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
capitalize on my childhood. And then when I moved away, I moved to America when I was 14, about to turn 15 that summer.
Right.
Um, and my parents stayed like in the Bahamas,
Okay. Yeah.
and I've
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
had, and I've just been trying to move farther and farther away. Like when I first went to Florida, like the first year I went to Florida, I was in like Boca del Rey,
Yeah.
and they could visit. You know what I mean? Or like
Mhm.
Eddie is talking to
Mhm.
you. You know what I mean? And not
Yeah.
like, oh, my
It's like
family
I'm
is have
not
to.
too far away. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. So and then I went to boarding school in West Virginia. Then I went to college in Ohio. Then I went
Who was your caretaker when you went to Florida?
my Grammy.
Oh, okay.
Like
Okay. So
like she
she
was
was
still in the
already there, or
Bahamas.
she came with you?
No, no,
Oh,
I
okay.
came to America alone, but my Grammy would like come and like fly back and forth, and she
Oh,
hated America, but
wow.
she would fly back and forth to like be with me for as long as like immigration would let her on a tourist visa.
Right.
Yeah, so my
And so then
Grammy,
you were like solo then?
yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I've been in America by myself, so yeah, and because that is, like I love my family, but it's complicated.
Mhm,
It is
mhm, mhm, mhm.
to say the least. And so like
Yes.
when I went to law school, like I hadn't seen my family for like 5 years. I rarely I can tell you every time I've seen my family off the top of the dome, and for like the
Mhm.
last 10 years.
Me
Meanwhile,
too. Yeah.
my boyfriend like wants to see his family like every month. He'd see
I
them if he could,
know.
he'd see them every day, every week.
How does that make you feel? Because I admire that in other people. I
Yes.
know that's not like my story, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that I have to be like jealous or I have to be, like cynical about it. Like I think that just
Yeah.
everybody's story is different, you know?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it, but I have a complicated relationship with it. So first
Mhm,
of all, I
mhm.
love my boyfriend's family. Let me say that. They're
Right.
gems. Like they're so wonderful. That's the best thing that could happen to my future kids. Like I'd be thinking
Right.
this healthy, family loving stuff is gonna be wonderful for my
Right.
children. But
Yes,
I don't
yes.
have the bone. Me
Mhm.
myself, as in like I family is very touching. Oh, my family is like a landmine. Like, you know, when you're playing Minesweeper, you don't know
Mhm,
how that shit
mhm.
works, and you just put the
Yeah, yeah,
bomb.
yeah. Oh, and you hit a bomb and you're like, "Oh, I guess the
That's
game's over."
exactly like what dealing with my
Yeah.
family is. Like the bombs are coming, and you're
Right.
trying, but you have no
Right.
idea like how to avoid them all.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so for me, I being around like my family is very touch and go about me. Like they don't my family don't love me consistently and they never have, right? Like I any little thing is enough to get me cut off. Actually, we don't talk for years at a time, all of this, right? So I'm always worried like my boyfriend's family loves me and I love them, but to me being close, like and wanting
Right.
to like being around them all the time to me creates more just my anxiety from the
Mhm,
relationship I have with
mhm.
family makes me think if we spend too much time together, something bad is gonna
Something bad's gonna
happen.
happen. I know. I think that there's some degree of like fear of getting too close to some members of my family because there is a pattern where people start to like rely on me too much for
Yeah.
things, and then I feel like I'm just a pocketbook, or I'm
Yeah.
just a like a tool to like enable somebody else's stuff. Or sometimes I feel like I'm an enabler, you
Yeah.
know, where I've had family members who, you know, tell me one story about they're in dire straits and they need something, and then I find out through the grapevine that actually they were just gambling, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to do with that. You know what I mean? Like I want to be
Yeah.
supportive, but I also don't want to feel like used, you know?
Right. Right. I listen, I have been there and I was watching, I was watching, did you watch the TikTok cult documentary?
No.
I'm so surprised that you haven't watched that. That feels like
I
exactly
feel
what
like
you are
I
supposed to be
know.
watching,
I've
Jarvis.
been like in a media drought lately. I haven't been watching anything. I
It's
need to
on
watch that though.
Netflix. It's called
Okay.
like 7M TikTok cult. They're like
Okay.
they like
Do they do like dances? Sorry if this is a
yes, they
super
are.
dark.
In
Oh,
fact, there's a
that's
bunch of people that
insane.
are like popping on TikTok. Like they have millions of followers, but because there's this cult management church thing or whatever, and they're there
Right.
talking, telling their stories, right? And the
Yeah.
crazy part is like this one girl is like, I guess like, they kind of center it around her. Her sister is talking. They used to make TikTok videos and stuff together. And her sister talking about how she's in the cult. And I was like watching with my boyfriend, and I was thinking to myself, well, I used to be, there was a time in my life where I would have been like, this could not have been like, I would never mind tell my family this and da da da. And I was like, now I've lived enough life with my family to know I can't stop them from doing shit. Like I can't convince, like
Right.
if one of my family members was in a cult, there's no amount
All
of
right. Yeah.
I protested before for things.
I know. I've even had like I some like silver linings like in my life were just like friends, families who like really stepped up and like helped me or supported me or were there as like a safety net for certain things. And so I have like friends like I have like a best friend from childhood whose family is like family to me, right? And
Yeah.
I've been at like Thanksgiving where like their little brother says some like problematic shit, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, like, do we need to have an intervention right now? You know, like we're
Yeah.
trying. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, we're not even family. I just like want the best for you,
Yeah.
but I know I can't control. I don't have control over anybody. So,
And
best
it's
laid plans,
crazy.
you try what you can.
It's really wild realizing you have very little control over shit
Hmm.
as you would want to have. Ah,
Yeah. But on the family side, I like when I am when I do like settle down with someone, I think I would like to find somebody who has like that kind of relationship with their family, because
yeah.
I will not be able to bring that to the table. So I think if I were to like
Yeah.
bring a child into the world, I would want them to have something to that effect, you know?
No, dead ass. I literally like every time I see it, I'd be like, I at least know I've chosen some stable, nice stuff from my boyfriend's side
Mhm, mhm.
to be able to give to my kid. Because like my family's cool, mind you, right?
Sure.
Like if you the individuals like on any given, if you meet them on their best day, you know what I mean, and their best attributes and fun, like then
You're
they're
like, oh,
great. Like
yeah, yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? But that is just not guaranteed.
Right,
It's just
right.
not guaranteed at all. Like
I
I'm
know
always
exactly what you mean.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, my
Yeah.
kids will love their like my family, maybe like on a particular occasion, and then there's
Mhm.
gonna be another occasion where they and they're gonna be like, oh, this is the worst experience of my
That's so
life.
funny.
Yeah, no, that's I did not know that was your backstory, Jarvis. I feel like on the internet you know, I feel like the internet has an entirely different perception of you. Like I feel like they've given you a very like white boy bougie Laguna Beach background, and I
That's
don't.
I think that's a little bit by design for me. I think that I like don't need anybody to know. Like if I'm sharing, sure, but it is there's a small part of me that's like, if that's your assumption, then I won. I beat the odds, you know, or whatever.
I
But
love that.
yeah,
Okay.
who knows? Yeah.
I love that. I mean, that's a good perspective to take. I'm always like mad whenever it could not be negative, but if I just think it's wrong, like it's incorrect about me, like a perception that's
Hmm.
just wrong,
Hmm.
it bugs the shit out of me. Like
Oh, I agree. No, we talked about this a little bit before. Like, I am practicing letting it pass, but it is easier said than done. Because sometimes just I have this strong desire to correct the record,
yes.
and I sometimes have to just let it go, like because I'm not going to be able to correct everyone's perception of me. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's right. How hard do you think that's been to like learn? Because I feel like I'm about 4 years into really,
Hmm.
really being on the internet with a platform, and I
Hmm.
think I am still mad and complaining about the same shit. So
Me
I'm just like,
too.
when am I gonna get better at handling this?
Me too. Well, I definitely feel like I still complain about the same shit, and it's like, okay, well, what have I done to give myself some coping strategies or tools, or, you know, a plan of how do I avoid it? I mentioned this, like, I personally don't read my comments unless I'm in the best mood ever, because I know that if I can just something catches me the wrong way, it can like ruin my whole day. And I maybe you've had this experience. I feel so stupid when I let some little fuck shit comment like mess up my day simply because my own brain is broken, like my
Yeah.
own like chemicals are imbalanced, that I just read the wrong words in the wrong order at the wrong time, and
Yeah.
that like shuts me down for like a couple hours. It's the
Yes.
worst. It's the worst feeling, cuz I have to be kind to myself. I have to like let myself off the hook. But there's a part of me that's like, no, that was embarrassing that you let that affect you. But you know, it's like I've been in therapy for longer than I've been a content creator, and I think that is has been helpful
Yeah.
to like kind of have some consistency on that front. Um and grounding myself in the real world has been another thing that is easier said than done, and something I definitely lost sight of like post pandemic, when a lot of my social skills had like atrophied and I wasn't getting out and about, and I'm doing a lot of bed rotting at home, and I'm just getting in a cycle of like working which I can do from home, and then like doing self like what is it called? Not self-care, but more I feel like if I am watching like a 3-hour YouTube video about some shit that is not going to affect my life in any way, but it's like keeping me invested, that is like the adult version of like putting a binky in my mouth and like putting myself to bed. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like a comfort. It's like self comfort. You know, it's like
That's
sucking
me
my
with
own
J Aubrey
thumb.
videos right now.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, tell me about how this family was horrible to their kids. I don't know why that's comforting to
That's
me.
literally me and J Aubrey videos right now.
I know, because I
I
was
don't
like,
know one fucking person he's talking about, and I am
no, literally, it's
excited
like
as
in
soon as I
this.
see them a
Can we
family.
talk about this for a second? Because literally, J Aubrey videos will be like, this is a story about how the family of 7 Jesus passengers raised their kids and abused them, and everything horrible happened, and then they got taken off YouTube and they all went to jail. and it's like, wait, why is the soundtrack going so, like, why am I
Why
bobbing
are
my
his
head?
videos so good? Like I don't even know Jay Aubrey yet. Like I haven't
I met him at the
spoken.
Creator for Palestine
He's
fundraiser, actually. Yeah.
and we have to talk about that. He is
Hmm.
so fucking good. And I say this as someone who makes video essays. It upsets me the way I suddenly feel like I'm in a cinematic universe. Like
Right.
I don't even feel like he's doing the same thing that I'm doing. It feels like I am lost in a movie. Like, and I'm so
I know.
locked in.
I it's very funny when I think Hassan's talked about it too, where it's like he scores his own videos like really meticulously, and you can tell. But it's like, did we really need to go this hard on a video about the worst crime you've ever heard
Yeah,
of? Or like,
and
so,
yes.
yeah, the answer is yes, because I'm in. I'm engaged.
In the last, I want you to understand how many. It's to the point where I've made my boyfriend such a YouTube person, and he's like,
Hmm.
he literally tells people, and I be putting other people. He's like, I didn't know. He was like, y'all know, like this even is on YouTube. Like that's what you could use YouTube for, like this.
People don't even
And
know.
literally, my boyfriend hopped me for the last however many nights. He's literally like, "Oh, we watching Jay Aubrey," and I'm like, "You want to watch something else?" He's like, "No." And I'm like, we've watched the most recent one, Under the Depravity of Kick. We watched one, Under the
Hmm.
Depraved World of the Duggars. We watched
It's
one
all
on,
depraved.
listen, Sneeko, Pearly. We're like
Oh,
8 of
oh
these in.
yeah,
And I've never
yeah.
heard of none of these people. I'm also, by the way, I realized like I'd be so upset when people call 30 auntie. I'd be upset. I'd be ready to fight. But and then also, why I never heard of the app Kick. I never heard of it. I never
Oh,
heard
that's
of these
funny.
people.
Yeah, Kick. It's like well, that one has. If you watch the Jabry video, he probably already explained it. But it's just like crazy how that came out of nowhere just because Twitch was fucking everything up,
Yeah.
and everybody was like, "I know what'll save us: a streaming app by the people who made the crypto gambling website Stake. Finally, our
That's funny.
savior."
That's so funny. No, I'm glad you feel me. I'm glad I'm not the only one locked into these videos. I'm like, they're so good.
Oh yeah, I mean, I will watch like Ginny Nicholson is another one where
Yeah.
like Ginny Nicholson will disappear. We met the sweetest person. We met at a VidCon panel last year, but Ginny Nicholson will disappear from the internet and show up with a 4-hour video about something you've never heard of. Or even better, let me tell you about Defunct Land. Have you watched Defunct Land?
No.
Okay. If you look at let me just give you a video recommendation. So Defunct Land will do videos. Originally I found them because they would do videos about different rides. Like here's a story of this like theme park ride that actually really sucked and people hated it and it got like shut down and it was super creepy and scared kids or shit like that, right? But then they started expanding stuff. They did this 3-hour video on the history of Disney Fast Pass, and that got everybody in. But the one that got me was, did you ever watch Disney Channel?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Do you know? Okay, great. So you know the Disney Channel jingle, the dun 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 dun.
Yes, that's my shit.
So exactly. So he did an 1.5-hour video about how no one knows the origin of who made that sound. And he like goes on this investigative journey trying to figure out where it came from. And that video, you will never expect to be crying in that video, but I was blown away. And then the other day, Defunctland tweeted, that video. Like, if you just say like Disney Channel Defunctland, you'll get recommended the video.
Okay, I'm getting it right now. I'm about to found it. Okay, boom. Watch my.
But it's like this is like there's this the YouTubers that like consider themselves documentarians. I think Defunctland is one of those, and I think they deserve it. I think they're really about it. They're really doing what they say, and they're really putting the work in. And when I like follow them on Twitter and they were like new video in 2 weeks, I was like, let me mark my calendar. Actually, no, it'll show up at the top of my recommendations, and I will click it and I will drop everything I'm doing. But yeah, I love that.
That's why. Listen, I'm glad it's not just me. And that's what I'm really trying to do. I like when I watch a YouTube video and I'm like, oh, that's just good for real. I understand why you have your views. Like when you put up your Steve Harvey one and I text you like, yo, this is really funny. Like I've watched that mad times, and it's not.
I love that.
I don't watch lots of shit I'm in.
Right. No, me either. I don't like to watch stuff I'm in because I think about myself too much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to just not do that. But I don't ever want it to seem like disrespectful. You know, like it's not like it's a me problem. Please,
Yeah.
please understand. It's a self-perception issue.
It's not you or your content. I just
No.
cannot see and hear myself.
Because I use videos stuff like that as escapism, so I need it to be about stuff that has no connection to me.
Yeah.
So like I will watch. Like I will avoid things that my friends are in. Like I was literally like getting really into Magic the Gathering, this like card game, and I was into it when I was a kid, and I was getting into it recently. And there are these videos where people like make a whole content out of like playing this game, and there's like a whole story to it and everything. And I was watching this channel and really enjoying it, and then like I got recommended one with like my friend Iffy, like Iffy Wadiwe. I don't know if you know him, but I was like if you get out of here, man, I'm trying to. We know each other in real life. I need to be in a mystery land where none of these people exist for real.
No, that's real. That I understand that because there are like all these like YouTube verses of like things that I watch that I like. I've never watched in real life the show 90 Day Fiance or any of it.
Right.
I watch all of the YouTubers who cover the shows, and I've been watching for years, and I've never talked to them. I never be in the comments. I watch religiously. I know. It's insane. And it's just because I'm like, that has not shit to do with anything in my life or world or
exactly.
blah, blah, blah. Like, unless they start getting way too xenophobic and nobody's calling out the immigrant, like, y'all don't see how they treat an immigrant here and me as the immigrant. And then I exit that one and I go to someone else where it's unproblematic.
Right, exactly. I'm like, oh no, this hit too close to home. Let me go to something that, like, I'll watch, there's a true crime. I don't watch a lot of true crime anymore, but I was watching true crime for a bit, and I really like this channel Rotten Mango.
Let me look at that.
And it's funny because this woman Stephanie is like the host of it, and I believe her main thing that she used to do was like mukbang videos where she would talk about crimes, but then she just pivoted to just a straight up true crime thing. But I think where she differs is, one, she's like very empathetic and kind of talks to victims and kind of doesn't sensationalize it in a way that traditional true crime does. But then also she talks about stories. She works with a bunch of translators and will translate stories from like Korea and, you know, and China and things like that, where I'm like, I never would have heard about this. And for some reason, because I know it can't possibly impact anything in my world, because it's like the land far, far away. It's like 1,000 miles away from me where this crime happened. No one's going to break into my house. This happened way, way over there. It's just like, it's like more comforting. Not that true crime should be comforting, but it is like the morbid curiosity type beat.
Have you watched Worst Roommate Ever on Netflix?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Wait a second. You just like unlocked something. Because I've watched so many of those Netflix things.
They all series where every episode is on some roommate they had that ended up being like.
Oh yes, I haven't fully seen this, but I've seen it a little bit. I watched one. Was there one about how somebody started squatting and like wouldn't leave the house? Okay, yeah.
Listen, that guy, and I can watch any like. Me and my boyfriend can watch a lot of true crime because I can pause it, and he wants me to pause it every 5 minutes to be like, we want to be like, you see how the fucking police didn't do shit, right? You see the police, like by the time, because all my true crime is watched with the live commentary of me and my boyfriend, like I feel like, look at them exposing the police for being worthless.
And that's the thing. It's like, and if you turned on a camera and were like live while you did that, I would watch that.
Yeah,
like because I can watch someone else watching true crime who can call the things out. Like sometimes Hassan will react to true crime, and I'll be able to watch that more if it's like the more morbid stuff, because this is why some people watch me, because I feel like they're like holding my hand through this scary thing. Oh, I'm safe because my friend is here explaining things to me.
No, that ass. You're absolutely right. That makes me think you're always giving me ideas. Now Aaron is gonna want me to do that because Aaron, ever since we did Sad Boys, Aaron wants me to do a Powerpuff Girls propaganda video so bad. And
Yes. That was so good. It was so funny. I spent a really long time before we figured out the thumbnail for that. I spent a
Yeah.
very long time photoshopping an image of Mojo Jojo in jail with the Powerpuff Girls laughing next to it. It never worked as a thumbnail, but I was like, these frames are wild. I don't know if I still have them, but
I'm gonna go make it myself for y'all for fun.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I'm extra annoying like that. Sometimes I'll be on like conscious Lee's YouTube, but anybody who's my friend and be like, I made you a thumbnail. Like I made you this thumbnail for this video. This
That's
video that
very
deserves
funny.
justice. I do it and conscious will change it and I love it. I'm
That's
like,
so
here you
funny.
go. Thank you for taking me as your overzealous friend. Okay, so how'd you get into YouTube in the first place, Jarvis, as somebody who similarly has anxiety?
Yeah. So I started watching YouTube when I was very young, and
How old are you, Jarvis?
I'm 32, just turned 32.
Okay, I'm gonna be 31 next month.
So I was in that, like, I was in middle school when like YouTube first started existing, and so I was watching that first generation of YouTubers. Though I did avoid Shane Dawson even back then.
I never
um,
heard of him until recently.
he used to be all over the YouTube front page, but I did watch a lot of Hank and John Green back in the day, because they were like two older dudes. Like they both started YouTube like 26 and 29, but it was like
Yeah,
2000. It was 2007.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, these guys are adults and they're like goofy still. I guess when you're an adult, you like, it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to suck. Cause I think I was so afraid about becoming an adult. Um, and so I was always kind of just like on YouTube as a fan, and then was a fan of like online creators and things like that. And so I was leaving. I went to school for computer science. I went to Georgia Tech, which so I left Florida and moved to Atlanta. And
You like Atlanta?
I did, yeah. And Georgia Tech is like right downtown, and it's just like I could like walk to, just all of the. I didn't have a car. I didn't get my driver's license till 3 years ago, and so I didn't have a car, and so I was like everything was like really walkable, and I studied computer science and then started interning out in California. And it was when, like, my first job out of college was kind of like my resume piece. Like, I interned at Yelp, and I really liked the team. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna really like hone my skills, my software skills and stuff here, learn what I can, and then we'll see what's next. And I ended up getting referred to Patreon while I was still at Yelp. And I had heard about Patreon because of YouTube stuff, because I knew that like people were starting to use Patreon to like support their YouTube jobs and stuff. So I was like, oh, it would be cool potentially to work on this product that like supports creators. And I interviewed. I really liked the team there. It was a small team at the time. The company was like 40 people or something. It
Yeah.
was, it's like now it was 3 years. It was a 3-year-old company when I joined, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it was still pretty new, and that was really important for me because, well, once I had moved out to San Francisco and started like living my life, I was like, what is my life going to be like? What hobbies am I going to have? I started doing improv comedy. Um,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I started like performing and doing that. Um, and then went to Patreon, and every one of my coworkers in that early time at Patreon was like a talented artist. It was like
Oh,
everyone
oh.
there was like a jazz pianist or like a guitarist or a painter, or it's just like everyone had some sort of artistic trade that
Yeah.
was just like, oh, but then I work as a designer because like I have to like make ends meet, or
Right.
I do this sales job, but like I'm also the best interior designer you've ever seen,
Oh, that's
and
lit.
so being surrounded by so many people like that, it was creatively inspiring for me. And like I just got a lot more creative confidence. And I went to VidCon. VidCon's coming up at the end of this month, and I went to VidCon in 2017, and for work, like we were we were like meeting with people to show creators like a product we were working on. And in my free time, I was going to panels and like how to start a YouTube channel, like panels like that. And I just started my channel after that, after I got back from VidCon.
Oh, I love that. And
Yeah.
how what was the process of growth? When did you blow up? Where were you at?
Um,
I'm asking this more so for me for research purposes as someone
so
who's
no,
viewing it.
this was so I started in like a different niche. I
Yeah.
started doing software engineering, like lifestyle vlogs,
Yeah.
because my friend and I started at the same time, and her first YouTube video got 1 million views, and I was like, now hold
Her
on.
first YouTube
Yeah.
video got 1 million
Her
views.
first YouTube video got 1 million views, and so I was like, okay, hold on, wait a minute. Because I had
What
made a
was
couple of
it?
videos. It was called Day in the Life of a Software Engineer. Um, and it was like it was literally a vlog set to Canals by Joakim Karud, like this royalty free song of just like wake up in the morning. And it's like people meme on this stuff now, where it's
Yeah.
like you see that shit on TikTok and it's like, where do these people actually work? You know, that you see
Yeah.
that kind of shit. But it was like a different time where it was like there
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of
There
content
wasn't
like
anything
that.
like that. Yeah.
And it was like, what is that like? Because it was at a time when tons of people were wanting to get into the industry. Things are rough right now. There's like a bit of a tech winter. There's AI. There's like a lot less jobs in like software. But at the time, it was like, you're doing this thing. How do I get involved in that? Like, and I was a TA in college. I like love teaching people and sharing things that I know. And so I was like, oh, I can do that also. I can pivot off of what I was doing, which is just trying to like tell comedic stories and be funny about my life, to telling comedic stories and be funny about my life in tech. And so that was like my first 50,000 subscribers were me doing like tech content. I would do like
Wow.
day in the life of a software engineer, my whole computer science degree in 12 minutes, like that type of content.
Oh, that's
Um
dope. I did not know that.
yeah, or like
I met you
roast.
at Love is Blind. I'm such a late
Yeah,
father.
yeah. No. I There's not a lot of people left over from this era because I scared them all away when I pivoted to commentary.
Yeah.
But basically, I found Drew Gooden's videos in like 2017, and I was
Heard of
like,
him. Okay.
Drew's like one of my good friends now, but he does commentary and was kind of, like there was people like Cody Ko and H3 and stuff doing
Oh, I've
commentary, but
seen
like,
him.
yeah, but like Drew's way of doing it,
Wait, he's not an actor? Or am I imagining that?
he's not an actor.
Why does he look like he looks like in the second season of Riverdale when they get Betty a brother.
No, but I'm sure people are going to find this very funny,
I'm
what you're
gonna
saying
find
right
that
now.
person because I'm telling you, this person looks just like them.
Um, Betty,
I'm about to
Betty
find you. I know someone.
Riverdale brother.
Okay, it's not this guy.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes, yes,
he does look like this guy Charles
yes,
Smith, portrayed
yes,
by Wyatt Nash.
yes.
That's so funny. I wonder if
Yes.
anyone's ever said that.
And they look exactly like dude. That was who I thought. I
That's
was like,
so
your
funny.
friend's the guy from Riverdale.
No. So when I was watching his videos, I was like, oh, he's like doing jokes, like, but with this backdrop of like this content, and I wanted to try doing that, but I knew I had a tech audience, so I was like, I can't just jump straight into it. So I started doing commentary videos about software engineering. So it would be like the worst software engineering advice I've ever seen, where I, like make fun of people, make fun of the stereotypes about software engineers, where it's like, oh, you need to be so smart, yada yada, like things that are exclusionary
Yeah,
to people, because I felt that way when I was coming into it.
yeah,
Thankfully, like it's huge that I went to school in Atlanta where I had so many black people around me who
yeah.
were doing the same thing as me, and I had black deans and I had like black student groups and stuff like that I could be a part of, because when I went out to Silicon Valley, it was like no one looks like me again. Round two,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because they're just like all spread out now. And
yeah.
then this guy Mackinday and this guy Aston Motes, and so these other black software engineers, some of whom were like MIT guys, some of whom were like, Aston was like the first black, he was the first hire of Dropbox, like employee number 3 after the founders, but he's
Wow.
also a black dude from MIT. And they started this thing called Dev Color, which was like a resource group and like kind of club for like Black engineers in tech, and that's how it started. Like Black engineers, underrepresented minorities in tech, and
Oh.
and that was like kind of like the Black people meetings for for like tech people, and then that was like, okay, I could find that community again, but there's very much like feeling like an outsider. And why did I talk about that? Oh, because well, I was talking about like I'm lucky that I felt like I belonged in college, or I had people that like looked like me doing the same thing that I could like look up to, and I had mentors and shit like that who were all like, Black, because it was just Atlanta, there was just so many Black people around. And
Yeah.
the but yeah, when I was I'm trying to remember how I got there, but anyway, saw
Finding
Drew's.
YouTube
So
inspiration for you
the
and pivoting. Yes.
exclusionary stuff. That's kind of why. So it's like I had a different opinion than like what I felt like. I felt like I had a unique perspective of like, oh, actually, let's not make this the like nerdy boys club. Let's like expand this. And then I had my friend whose video got 1 million views was a Japanese American woman who was also in tech, and like there's a whole other sort of set of things there. So she was like talking about it from her perspective. And so I started making videos that were like commentary about tech or commentary about roasting my old resumes and shit like that. Like doing commentary on like, why did I make my resume like this? This is
Yeah.
bad. And it was like trying to, help people. But eventually I knew that I was building an audience that like I didn't necessarily identify with, because try as you might, like YouTube is going to make it's like the people that were finding me were not the people I necessarily wanted to be serving always.
Yeah.
And there were people who were like telling me to like take the jokes out of my videos and stuff like that, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Like
okay. I was like,
you're
this
not
isn't.
getting it.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't maybe the right place. So I was trying to widen that net. So I started doing like general commentary, and I made a video about 5 Minute Crafts, which is like this content farm that does like horrible life hacks. They're still around, but they're like way less popular now. And that video was like a flop at the time. It had like 15,000 views.
Yeah.
And then like 6 months later, it got like 2 million views like overnight,
That's
or
crazy.
over a weekend. And so while that was popping off, I like started making videos to just literally follow up that video over and
Yeah.
over, because I was reaching such a different audience, and there was no other content on my channel that would have been for the type of person that was watching that video.
I get that.
So I
Yeah.
needed to like kind of build the train tracks, like as the train is like going, like, and that gave me enough momentum to kind of never
Pivot.
look back and kind of pivot. Yeah.
Okay, we love that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So when did you get your first 100,000 subscribers?
Like 2018. I think I actually don't know, but I think I got like 100K and like 500K in the same year.
That's crazy.
Because I blew up like pretty quick. Because I went from 50K to 250K over like a couple of days.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then after that there was like some growth, but I was still working full time, so it was really hard to like capitalize on the moment. And that was when I first started to think like, is this something that could actually be a career? But it felt very far off.
Yeah.
But by the end of 2018, I'd put in my notice, and beginning of 2019, I'd like started full time. So,
Hey,
yeah,
we love it. And
yeah.
now you live like a narco.
I don't know about all that, but yeah. So it's like that was yeah. It was very scary to take that leap of faith, but fortunately, I was in a career where not a lot of people out like I paid off my student loans my first year out of college.
Yeah.
It's like not a lot of people are in that situation.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I just happened to get the right bonuses and shit like that, like at work and things to make that work. And so I was able to save some money and basically have a plan where I was like, if this doesn't go, then I can come back in 6 months, you know?
Yeah.
Or I can come back in a year. And then I kind of kept pushing that out. And then I'm like, okay, now I think I'm probably good.
What's your favorite video you've made?
Is it bad that I don't like a lot of videos that I made? But I mean, I
No,
like
I feel
them.
that.
I like them in retrospect. I do like the metaverse video that I made, probably the last video that I made, but it's been almost a year since I put that out. So it's like I really need to.
Let me make sure I've seen this one.
It's like the most recent video on my main channel. I just never post on my main channel.
It's crazy how I'm subscribed to all your channels, so I never know when Jarvis things are popping up. Okay, I'm watching that next. Save to watch later.
But yeah, so it's like that is something I like. Is more this type of stuff that I want to make in the future, but I still haven't made the next thing yet because I just get too in my head about things.
I get that.
Yeah.
I fully get that. I have a bunch of video ideas, video essays that are like started writing or thought about or have on a list of blah blah blah. But do they get made? Who's to say? We'll see.
Even one thing that like bums me out sometimes is like I'll be talking to friends who are also YouTubers, and they'll like think of they'll have a video that they're working on that's like probably going to be a very successful video, and I like this happened to me recently. It's like, you know, I had this idea for this video 2 years ago that was going to be like a similar type of thing, but I couldn't get excited enough about it, or I couldn't get out of my own head thinking it was a good enough idea.
Yeah.
And then that prevented me from like making a thing that probably, you know, would have been just fine. You know, it's like, or people would have enjoyed it for sure.
I'm like that. Sometimes I put out, sometimes I get over that, make the content, put it out, and then still come around to being like, I don't like it. Like, you know what I mean? Private eyes gone. Like, I don't like, so I get that. Things like change over time, or I'll see a typo, Aaron, like, and then be over the video for forever.
I know what you mean. There's like, sometimes I don't like if I watch myself and I can tell that I'm trying too hard, or I didn't like, I know that I'm like, for my main channel videos, they're all pretty scripted. So it's like, this feels too scripted. So it like makes me cringe, you know? And it's like, I was still practicing. I'm still, you know, there's a video of mine that people like, that was on Dan Bilzerian, and it's very many years old now. But in the video, I like feel like I overwrote the script. I feel like I overwrote the script, and I feel like it's a little too obvious that I'm like performing my script. And that's what I like about the second channel, because I can just like be myself and improvise. And I want to be able to act convincingly in a casual way as myself, but it's easier said than done.
I'm here to tell you, I've watched all your content on both channels, and that is an impression that only lives in your mind.
I think you're right. Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, that I think what I struggle with is I don't, you know how it's like, oh, once you create your art, it's for everybody else, like it's theirs today. But it's like, I don't think I've come to terms with that. I don't think I like subscribe to that. Like, no, actually, it's my shit. It's still my shit.
I used to want to unlist or delete my tech videos. Yeah. Like because I was like, well, that's not what I'm doing now. And it was a completely different audience. So it's like if you watch an actor doing like something that's for kids, and you're like, oh, why are they like so cringy? And it's like, well, it's for a different audience, and you're not that audience, right? Yeah. And it's like, but then you could see that same actor doing like you watch Malcolm in the Middle, and you're like, the dad from Malcolm in the Middle is the Breaking Bad guy, and it's like, well, it was a different vibe, it was a different thing, it said nothing about his talent as an actor. But I still cringe when I look at those old videos. But then I look at the comments, and I know how helpful they are for some people, and or like and I'm like, well, I don't want to. I guess it is selfish of me. You know, it's like, I guess it is a little bit. I know it's in my own head, so I should just like let it ride. Yeah.
I definitely understand that. And it is helpful to folk. That's the thing, right? Is like, they like it. But I do know what it is to be met with an audience. Like I have three major different kinds of content on my channel. Like
Right, right,
technically
right.
like five. Like but I have the Olurinatti Productions, the big video essays. I have Olay and Friends, the podcast, and then I have Iconic, what we're doing now. And
Right.
I cannot stand when I'm like the other day I got this long comment from this white woman telling me how she loves my Olurinatti productions, but she doesn't like this Olay and Friends. Like, oh, the way it's just like a white lady like pearl clutching at like black people talk, has clearly never seen black people talk. And like Olay and Friends is literally Olay and Friends. Like we're having a good time
Yeah,
with friends. But
yeah.
she thought, you know, when it's like, you ever seen like those movies where there's like black people are dancing, crumping, but then they show the white people perceiving it as a fight? Like, please, break
Why
like
are you all so aggressive?
yes, and bring it on all or nothing when Hayden
Yeah,
Panettiere
yeah.
runs up because they're crumping. Like, stop.
That's so funny.
That's
Wow.
literally that. She's like, I'm gonna not watch these Olay and Friends. I'll wait for your production to come out. I'm like, oh my fucking god, lady. So I get it. I do understand that. But nah, I've never even. I feel like your channel has so much content. Like you would have to seek that to see your old
Yeah,
tech
yeah, yeah.
videos.
I don't think they get
thus,
recommended them anymore. Yeah.
and thus the people who are seeking it out are the people who needed that help. Like they were looking for that kind of
Exactly.
tech help. So you can't get rid of it, Jarvis. Sorry.
I was at no, I can't. No, it's like that passed a long time ago, but it was when I was first transitioning into a different type of content. I used to get bring back the tech videos so much that I was like, oh, bring them back? How about I destroy them? You know what I mean? Like
I would have done that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
ready
yeah.
like that. I absolutely would have done that. Sometimes, like,
yeah.
I be ready. I be having to remind myself, like, my shit is my shit, and also it's monetized because the way I be irked by people trying to police Olay and Friends. I be like, fuck it, no Olay and Friends,
no Olay and Friends for anybody. Yeah, I've done that too. I have. I've done that on smaller scales. And I, you know, I don't. It's not right. It's not wrong, but it is what happened.
I love that, Jarvis. Honestly, you always make me feel so like, oh, I'm not alone because you always come off so much calmer and less crazy than me, and you also be annoyed by the things I'm annoyed about. So I'm like, great.
I have to. I hold myself to such a stupid standard sometimes because I really do just want to like shout into the void, or I have like an evil side of me. Like I have like a vengeful, like evil thing, and it's like, oh, I want to like find you and I want to like kick your ice cream cone or whatever. You know,
have
like
you ever seen that? There's a TV show on like Hulu. I think it's called like Shrill with the like white girl from SNL. And she like there's a troll, like troll, she's a journalist, like always trolling her like website. And she makes the IT person like find them and she goes to his house to beat him up. Like,
so
I
funny.
dream. When I say to you, I was like, you wrote this scene for me. This is my fantasy right here. Like, beautiful.
I like sometimes I wish I could just like tell somebody to their face that they're a bad person. It's like very mean. I'm like, I don't, it's for my own selfish catharsis. And oh man, I'm just sometimes it'll get me into trouble one day. I have to, you know, it's like impulse control. It's like I have to just hold it in.
I love it. I think you do it so well, and it makes me. You met me. I cannot express to you how validated, how comforting you were to me during the Eric Adams thing. When you,
that was, oh my god.
I was so validated. I was like, so I'm like, because when I tell you, Jarvis,
why aren't you choking him out in the photo? I think you're not really about the cause.
Yo, Jarvis, I was in this house tight. Like, I actually couldn't believe it. I was like, are y'all serious? Like, are we fucking for real? Like, yo, and people were just lying on my name, Jarvis. Like, I was showing you. Like, there were people being like, you know, I always didn't like her. I always knew something was funny about her. Didn't she defend Tory Lanez? I'm like, me? Defend Tory Lanez? Like, you literally are just making shit up. You're lying on my goodness. They were like, oh, she probably went to dinner with him. She probably went to dinner with Eric Adams. Oh, I was like, that's crazy. They're like, oh, I just feel like, you know, you got to smile in the photo. I'm like, do you people like...
Yeah.
And, you know, I saw no public apologies. Like, my dad blocked it.
Right, because no one's... they're just... it's, like, so cynical, but it's like, oh, people just want to get their impressions. They want to get their, like, licks in. But to what end? It's like no one's... there's no value to being like, upon further consideration, I I really should retract my previous statements.
Right, I jumped the gun. I was like, it's crazy. I don't see any of these people coming to tell you how they was lying and playing on your name, right?
Right.
Like, but you made me feel real validated when you
I'm
texted me
glad.
like
I'm
that shit
glad.
annoyed me.
It was making me annoyed. Yes,
I was
absolutely.
like,
And it
thank
was
you so
starting to
much.
get in my, there's this thing where I'm nosy, and I think the Twitter algorithm has changed where it's like whatever you like spend time looking at, it's now like recommending more of that, obviously, to me. So I have like a toxic trait where I will just like look at people arguing in the comments to stuff for my own entertainment. Like I will just like, sometimes I'll take screenshots. Like I think I'm going to use it for content later, like on Sad Boys or something, but I never do. And then Twitter has just been like, oh, you just want the worst takes
You
imaginable
like
about
drama.
everything. Yeah, you just want all the drama. And so then it would just be all kinds of stuff where it's like stands of certain creators like arguing amongst themselves about whether someone did or didn't do a thing. And I'm like, you don't know these people. This is
Right.
ridiculous. Like, get a hobby,
Right.
like, get a real hobby.
No, they really do be like fighting for them. I'm like, at least I don't even feel like I don't know how you feel about whether your audience fights for you, but I feel like I feel like everybody kind of my audience has a attitude of like she can fight for herself. Like she's good. Like I don't bring out the like let's please cloak her. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like yeah.
I think, okay, how do I put this? I think that it can very quickly become toxic if you encourage your audience to defend you and fight on your behalf and stuff. So I've
Yeah.
actively discouraged that.
Yeah.
And every time I see someone not fighting for me, I'm like, why did I discourage that? Why did I am a prisoner of my own design. Why don't I just create a world where all my little acolytes like follow me without a critical thought in their mind and fight for me tooth and nail?
And you almost be wanting to, especially in moments when people be coming for you. But you know why? Because the scary extreme of the level of liability that gets put on you when they're monsters. Like as someone who also looks at the drama and sees the YouTube videos and watches all of this, and I see what's going on. I'm watching a whole lot of shit I don't say nothing about it.
Right, exactly. Oh, I'm very nosy. Yeah.
The minute a motherfucker has like a weaponized, like a Discord or a weaponized audience that goes after people, you basically become like a boogeyman. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you're a Death Eater now. Like you're a Death Eater.
You're a Death Eater. Yeah, and you got a bunch of little like dark mark kids like going,
yes.
Sire will be seeing to this. You know, yes. It's like, okay. What is really happening right now?
I don't want nobody saying that I curated. That's honestly, Jarvis, I live in fear. Aaron already, like, we made a Discord for Olurinatti. It's been made. It's been done. I have yet to say anything because I keep feeling like anytime I watch a video on a YouTube creator's downfall, a Discord is always prominent in the story somewhere.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I have a small Discord that I never advertise, but luckily I have a team of mods who have been with me for like years and years at this point because I very seldomly ask them for anything. So it's a very low lift engagement, but people do like moderate our Discord. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, every time I've seen one of those Discords, there's like minors interacting with adults, right? So then I'm like, okay, there's no minors on this Discord. Like, and we are trying our best to enforce this using like, Discord's like thing. But then now it looks like it's a fucking NSFW Discord. And it's like, no, that's not what this is. No, we just don't want minors to be interacting with adults. So then they can't be minors. But
that's so funny. I have no children audience to even, I've never even considered this because not a single minor is a fan of mine.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, there's a certain responsibility that I, as someone who was a minor, who like followed creators and was like influenced by them, I consider it I consider myself very in a lucky position and in a position I do not take lightly, that I want to kind of wield the power very responsibly. And thankfully, so far so good, because the cutest thing happens, which is like, someone goes, well, in a year or so, I'll be in the Discord. but I guess I'm
Oh,
gonna.
that's so cute.
But for now, I suppose I'll just have to wait. And I'm like, well, thank you for, thank you for respecting the wishes, because it's all for everyone's best interest. And yeah, so
That's so
that's
cute.
cute. But I don't talk too much in my actual Discord, and every time there's like, sometimes there'll be a conflict that escalates to me, and I'm like, all right, everybody's banned. Just get out of here. We don't want anybody instigating anything. We want good vibes. We want people sharing memes and like Pokemon Go friend codes, and like that's about
Yeah.
it,
How do you decide like how to walk the line between like trying to like appreciate your community and build community and engagement
Mm-hmm.
and all these different things, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously like job, money, all these different things,
Of
but
course.
while also like mental health, because I find that I keep trying to feel like my career necessitates that I like be more active and be more this, but the more that I am active or the more that I try to give to my audience, the more angry I feel and the more upset I feel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember like 2 seconds after being like, oh, I'll respond to everybody who likes whatever the super chats, or if you know what I mean, on your live thing. And then the people are pissing me the actual fuck off in what they're saying when they super chat you, and they want you to like, they want me to like engage their bullshit. Like, not even
Hey,
like,
thanks for the $10. The message says, Olay, I really don't like 2/3 of the content that you put out, but the
yeah,
1/3 that I do like is good. Wait, why'd you have to say that?
right.
Why'd you have to make me read that?
Dog. It's really a thing. So how do you do that?
Um, Easier said than done. I think I just don't engage as much as I could.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to protect my peace at all costs. And that sometimes does mean like ruling with an iron fist. I had a very funny thing happen where a guy, let me see if I'm going to get myself in trouble with this. A guy who I went to college with, who I did not know that well, came into my Discord and like announced themselves. And I was like, oh, hey, dude, what's up? Then I immediately forgot his what his username was. And then he said something that annoyed me.
And you got
And I was like, yo, this is annoying me. I'm going to time you out. And then he like sent me messages on Twitch. He sent me messages on Facebook. Then he blocked me. Then he told me I need to do better. And I'm like, brother, like, I'm like, I have to rule with an iron fist to keep my own sanity while I'm like streaming or while I'm doing something. And so don't take it personal. I just have to curate this so that everyone else can enjoy.
Thank you. Can you, because tell me, so this is the thing that like lives in my mind, right? Like as a child of a problematic childhood, where the things that your parents say to you and your family says to you stick with you forever, right? Like having and again, intellectually, you ever be smart enough and enough therapy to know better, but it still just doesn't.
All the time.
Yeah, like
Most of my therapy is like, look, and I know what you're gonna say, and it's this, but then counterpoint, I can't do that. It's too hard.
no,
I want to do something bad.
For me, what was a core tenet of my childhood was my loved ones saying incredibly abusive things, and then any pushback to that from me or why that's wrong gets treated as nobody just can't say nothing to you. Like, you know what I mean? No one can criticize you, no one can say whatever. And so like having that like psychological trigger just of my own, like that's a thing I have in life, like fuck having a platform or whatever. It's like anytime I feel like the internet tries to create rules that enable the internet to abuse you. You know what I mean? Like the internet, like it's like me having like I have guidelines on my YouTube comment section. Like before you go go comment on my section, there'll be a guidelines that basically are like, listen, positivity welcomed, anything else gets you banished. Like it will get you blocked. And like there are so many people leave me the angriest fucking comments like, oh, we can't say whatever fuck, we have to be positive here, but you're saying whatever, and you're trying, and it's like,
exactly, precisely, yes.
Like, yes, like to me, they'll comment also, like, I'm not a drama channel. Like, I talk about politicians. Like, the only people who get heat on my thing are literal people, like, killing people and letting police do it and shit. Right. And I'm also not doing that on their page. I'm like, I'm not like on anybody. People make hate videos about me. I'm not in their comment sections arguing with them or saying nothing to them or whatever have you. Like, I'm like, is it not our right to curate our own, like, they don't get that. It's like, I'm not stopping you. This is have nothing to do with free speech. You're not entitled to disrespect me
Yeah.
on my page. Like, you can
Right.
go say whatever you want onto the internet, but like, am I allowed? Am I entitled? Am I obligated? I mean, to let this rock? Because I know there are so many people, and I think they're disingenuous creators that have this like, oh, free market thing, but I really think it's just they think
No.
all engagement is good. All
Yeah.
engagement is good because algorithms, so they let any kind of bullshit rock. Because, and I also know there's a lot of creators who just like attention, like negative or not, they like that it rile you up. I don't like negative shit.
I think
You say
that
negative.
there's just different venues are like I let more or less I have some like muted terms on
Yeah,
YouTube, but that I can't
yeah.
remember because I set them up so long ago. But other than that, and then YouTube also has its filter. Other than that, that's why I don't read the YouTube comments. I have like my producer like, hey, is there how are the comments looking? Or I'll look at the top comments that have bubbled up. But if I really get down and dirty, it's just like, why did you feel like you needed to speak on what you're speaking on right now? Who
You're
who
right.
is hearing you? Like, hear me out. I'm gonna say some mean stuff. Why did you
Yeah.
feel like that needed to be said? Okay, I can't prevent you from saying that, so I'm just not gonna look, and I'm gonna look in the places that are healthier for me too, that I have better moderation and private moderation, because like I don't like that it's like if you like delete someone's message, they're like, why did you delete my message? I said, and then like this message. It's like, okay, your message can stay up, but like in my
Oh,
DMs, everybody's much nicer, right? So it's like, well, unless they aren't, but then if I don't respond to them or I delete the message, no one's there to see it, you know?
oh, because you don't banish people, so you're just you remove their bad. But oh, no, no, no. If you
I
say
know.
something annoying as fuck enough to me, the first time to decide, I'm getting rid of you altogether. Like
I
I'm
know.
there. Yeah, no, because they love to do that follow up where they're arguing and screaming about the fact that you removed their comment, and it's just like,
I do love hide user from channel though.
yes, that's
That
exactly what
one's
I'm
really
referring to.
good. That
Hide
one's
user
really
from
good.
channel is my shit.
I want
That's
them to feel like they're like, why is no one engaging with me? And you don't know if you've been shadow banned or if you just had a bad take.
yes, no,
It's
hide
great.
user from channel is my shit. Like I live
Um,
for it because
but
what
yeah,
the fuck.
it's rough. Um,
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, thank you for making me feel a little bit
yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah. I think that every creator is entitled to manage. It's they're pruning their garden. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're cultivating their community however they want, and peop. It's like people if they're criticizing that, sure, you're allowed to say whatever, but it's not like you don't have a right. You know what I mean? They're just
Right.
upset because they want to feel heard. And this, if they're on YouTube comments, then this is clearly one of their places. If they're on YouTube writing negative stuff, then this is clearly an outlet for them. So now
Yeah.
it's frustrating that they're being denied their outlet. But in
Yeah.
reality, they need a healthier outlet anyway.
Yes.
You know what I
And
mean? Like,
yes. And I think they like never seem to think like I think the thing that I find a little bit frustrating about the internet is the internet thinks of everything like they gave it to you rather than you are an
mm-hmm,
individual who built your own shit. Like I built my
mm-hmm.
content, I built this community, I built this. I don't have to want to
We
hear from you.
chose you. We
Yes.
are the ones. Yeah.
Yes, like they feel like it's their shit to be able to like be however, and it's like, no, actually, I'm trying to create and
Yeah.
curate something that's an extension of me. This is what I'm giving. And like I I think it's okay. I feel like the internet is always trying to convince you as a creator that you shouldn't give a fuck about you. You know what I mean? Like you
Right.
should give a fuck about you, second and third to whatever it is that they want. And if what they want is to say whatever thing about you or whatever have you, like the things that people think are constructive comments, like or they think are fine, like, and it's like I don't make fun content, right? So it's not like people are just annoying me a little bit. They're
Right.
saying like fucked up, harmful, like stupid,
Right.
disparaging ideas, and they think like my obligation. Like I remember when I didn't want to engage. Somebody said a bunch of xenophobic shit about me on my own Olay and Friends episode, and they were like, "Oh, like," and I try to be nice about it. Like, you know what? Thank you. You can watch something else. You know what I mean? Like nice. And they were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you don't have to be passive aggressive. Like you can engage what I said." And it's like I actually don't. I cannot engage
I don't like
all
that.
of the xenophobia and bigotry and teach every person on the
it's like
internet
I
about
sent you
what negative thing you're saying.
50 million things that you would have a problem with. Why can't you point by point break it down? Like you have unlimited time to dedicate to some one person who's demanding
And they're
your attention.
dead ass. And they're dead the fuck ass.
That's
They be
so
so
crazy.
serious. And it's like, I'm not deleting your comment just because, like, oh, you disagree with me, or I think you're no or whatever. I'm like, I literally think you're saying some of the stupidest, ignorant, fucked up shit for whatever reason, but I don't want it to fester. I literally don't want another dummy to read your dumbass comment and think like, oh, let's commiserate and build community around this stupid ass point, but I also don't have time to engage it.
But what I will say is, one, I don't exist in the politics sphere, and that incites a certain type of discourse that I am generally not a part of. And two, I am a cishet guy on the internet, and that automatically precludes me from a certain form of like harassment, and in not even in the most obvious ways, but in the like actually ways, because you know, like my friend Alana Pierce, she's in gaming, right?
I know her.
At every like it's like she could be like, the sky is blue today. She's Australian. She could be like, the sky is blue today, and then just like every dude wants to be like, you stupid bee, you know what I mean? You stupid woman, you don't know anything about the sky. And it's like, whoa, like this is not a discourse thing. I thought I was stating a fact, and it's like, well, tell me point by point why in the marketplace of ideas the sky is not in fact gray.
Absolutely.
And that type of, there is I was going to call it subtle misogyny, but it's very overt. It's just like, it comes out in it's like the people engaging in that form of misogyny, and especially like misogynoir and like all of these other things, like people engaging in that, they don't think that that's what they're doing. They think it's a unique thought from their mind.
And it'd be so clear. It'd be textbook. One of my friends that was on Olay and Friends, there was this comment on my Instagram that was like, this stupid bitch must not have a father, don't know the man. Did a long comment like that. I deleted, and he messaged me like, oh, Mr. Like, I normally love, like, you know, your content, your profile, but like, why did you delete my well-intentioned message or some shit like that? I was like, you called her a fatherless bitch.
and like, why can't she engage with me in the marketplace of ideas?
Right? Like, why can't she simply defend herself if she does have a father? Is it that she doesn't have a father?
Am I in fact correct? It's like they don't. Oh my God.
Oh, Jarvis.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But yeah, I thankfully, and this is just, I'm lucky in just like the path that I chose, and just the way, my natural way of discourse is, doesn't lend itself to a lot of this stuff. So usually the stuff that I'm dealing with is like, either overtly bad faith, or it's, anytime I'm on camera with a woman, they tell me that we're dating. Some of the comments are insane. Like one time I did a collab with my friend Sam, and there was a comment that was like, they clearly just got out of the shower together. And I'm like, brother, what are you talking about? What in the AO3 fucking fan fiction ass shit is this?
People say crazy shit. I swear to God, my boyfriend was in this house like hot, heated after the Eric Adams interview, showing me ignorant comment sections, right? But there were people being like, oh, he clearly must have turned her down for a date or something, and that's what I swear to God. I swear to God.
Because you are not allowed to engage substantively with someone's beliefs and ideas. Like, if they are of a different sex than you, it has to have been romantic. And you're just so vengeful because you were turned down. That happens to me all the time. You know,
it is nuts.
Anyway, I've got to go to my divorce hearing. You know, it's like, it's always some shit like.
What are your cards, Jarvis? And I promise you, I'm only gonna ask you a few more questions.
These are dividers for cards. They're like little. They just go in boxes. But I'm fidgeting.
You have a box full of dividers?
This is just. I have. Oh, it's bad. You don't even want to see.
Please tell me. Tell me about your.
No. There's just so many cards. I bought 40,000 Magic cards. Ugh. So my
Magic cards?
like Magic the Gathering. Like so my place is like full of shit like this. Yeah.
Tell us what kind of secret nerd you are,
I'm
Jarvis. What
not
is
even a secret.
Magic the
It's very
Gathering? Explain
overt.
it.
It's a trading card game that was created by Richard Garfield in 1993. It was the first trading card game. Mini came after it, like Pokemon, that I'm also into, and Yu-Gi-Oh that I am also into. Um, Even Disney got into the game recently with Lorcana, which I am not into. But shout out Disney, I guess. I don't know.
Why aren't you into it? Since you clearly
Um,
like all the card trading games, why don't you
well,
like
I
this
only
one?
have so much money, okay, and I'm my businessman, my accountant is not going to like it if I pick up yet another hobby. I just opened a pack of the cards and I didn't like the way they looked, but sometimes it's that simple. Wait, let's go
I'm
through
with
your questions though, because I do have a. I didn't
Yeah,
realize.
I'm gonna let you be free. I think I have. Hold on, let me just ask
Well, you
you
want to
a
do lightning
short.
round? Because I can. I'm down.
Yes, let me get the lightning round of stupid questions that let me don't treat my audience's questions like
Oh,
that. These are
let
the
me also
questions
show
from
you
her.
two of the worst things, the most cursed things you're ever gonna see. One, this was a wedding favor. An Etsy artist made every wedding guest, and they
Is that
made.
supposed to be you?
It's supposed to be
That white man?
that white man, or do you mean this white man? This is
They need to stop doing you this way. This is crazy.
this was this was so Drew Gooden, the guy I mentioned. He did a video where he was like he got this Instagram ad for 3D printing photos, and so he did it of all of his friends, and then he presented them to them in presented them to us in person, and he was like, "I'm so sorry they made you white," and so this is White Jarvis.
That's actually hilarious. I have your creator clash card on my fridge.
Oh yeah. Okay, but yeah, your
Okay.
questions.
I've got your rapid fire. Okay. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Favorite EV evolution?
Umbreon. Umbreon.
Do you still keep up with stuff in the software engineering realm?
A little bit. More recently, just because AI is so big, and I'm like, man, I should probably pay attention to this.
Do you still code?
Sometimes, not very often.
Do you do consults?
For like YouTube.
They just said this. They
Sometimes
said,
when people, if someone reaches out to me and I like know them or like know them through a friend, then I will talk to them about stuff. But usually no, just because I end up having the time.
this person says not to be thirsty and nosy, but they want to know if you're dating and they want to know your outlook on dating, marriage, and family and children at this point.
I am dating. It is a hellscape. I want to get settled down and like have a family one day, but I'm not in a rush because I want to make sure it's like the right thing.
Yeah.
Not just like check the box. So I feel like if you want something rare, then it should be hard to find.
You know, they said, oh, so someone has a follow up to that. They said, how is it dating as a big content creator? Like, does that make it more difficult? Do people recognize you often? And do people think you're a nerd?
Not too often. People do they think I'm a nerd? That much is apparent. But it doesn't come up that often. Usually it'll come up with someone like messaging me and referencing they're a fan, and then I can kind of avoid them.
Yes.
And
Can you be
then
on dating apps? Can you still be on dating apps?
I can, yeah. But I think if I was I think just because I'm more of a niche. I'm like if you're aware of like if you watch YouTube in this corner, then you know who I am. But otherwise, it's like, you don't.
So you never worry you're gonna suddenly see a business on Twitter.
I don't conduct myself in a way where I think I conduct myself in a way where I'm always fearful of that.
Yeah, not
It,
even in a negative way. I just don't even
yeah,
like the idea of people talking about like, oh, they see that you're on this date. I
I
once
think
went
that
on a date
yeah.
with someone, and then he told me like at the end of the date, or twice, like that they were already like fans on the internet, and I didn't like that.
Okay, well that I would not like that either. That hasn't happened to me, and I think it's because the people who are fans of me know how I would feel about something like that. So because I've probably talked about it, but yeah, it hasn't happened, knock on wood.
Okay, their last two questions is what's a time you can recall that made you into the person you are today, and what advice would you give to young content creators?
I think that the story I told kind of at the beginning of the podcast is very
Yeah.
formative for me. For young content creators, I would say that like if you can find time to just make stuff and experiment and have fun, then do it. Don't focus on making it a career because that is like winning the lottery. Unless you want to do some shit that you don't care about, in which case you can be very like um methodical about it. But I'd say we don't know what's going to happen. Always have a backup plan. Don't put all your eggs in a content creator basket because you know there could be an adpocalypse tomorrow and all of us could stop making money, you know?
This is true. Wouldn't that be awful? Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
awful?
I mean, again, knock on wood, I'm hoping not, but uh
Oh,
it's like,
oh.
do I still code? I'm like, I should make sure my skills are sharp enough. No,
That'd
but
be me like, do I have to go and be in the court? And I'd rather dead. Every
yeah,
time
yeah,
Alex is trying to get a job, I'm like, why don't you stop?
yeah.
Being a lawyer is the worst.
No, but I do think it's something that you can make work if you put your mind to it, but it is
Yeah.
not something that you can make happen on a timeline. You can't choose when like lightning is going to strike with the algorithm. You can
Yeah.
just kind of have the library of work there when the time comes. So don't quit your day job.
Yeah.
Like, you know, before like I didn't quit my day job until I had like 400,000 subscribers and I was making like at least a reasonable amount of money per month to like that would support me.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you, Jarvis.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
You're always amazing, Jarvis.